Hello everyone. So in this session, we are going to discuss about the very important stock count and cycle count process. We are going to look at both of this. So let's head on straight to the session. Now, let me explain you the process step by step. So the first step on this process is creating your stock count or cycle count sheet. So that is your step number one, which is nothing but your stock count or cycle count sheet. Okay, so before we move ahead, I'll explain you the difference between stock count and cycle count. It's very simple. Cycle count, that means you won't count all the products that are in the warehouse. Rather, you will pick up specific number of products, keep counting it. So in a month or in a quarter, you will complete the entire set of products. Contrasting to this one, stock count means you will just close down operations and you are going to count all the products stored in your warehouse. So ideally, or most organizations will do the stock count once in a year. Some organizations does it twice a year, but predominantly it is once in a year. But cycle count is a regular process. Many organization does it on a weekly or even daily basis as well. So I'm going to explain both to you. So the first step is step number one, which is nothing but creating the stock count or cycle count sheet. For to make it simple, let's call it as a count sheet. So what will be the information in the count sheet? It will have the SKU, it will have the description of the product, then it will have the location in which this product is stored, and if there is a batch, if there is a product which has a batch information, it will have the batch information, then this will have the quantity. So these are the basic information which will be part of the count sheet. Now this count sheet, right, and specifically if you are going to do a cycle count, in that case, deciding on which SKUs you are going to get counted can be done two ways. One way, the first method, is driven by ERP itself. So if you are using SAP or Odoo or Sin7 or any leading softwares in the market, NetSuite, Oracle, these ERPs have an inbuilt functionality by which they can, you need to just tell the ERP, telling, hey, you know what, I need to complete my one cycle in a quarter. They automatically put a logic in terms of A class, B class, C class items, how frequently it has to be checked to achieve the target what you are giving to the ERP. They themselves will generate the count sheet for you. This is option one. Option two, we do it manually. If it is manual, there is one person involved who is responsible for this, and this person is going to do, okay, A, B, C classification. I need to count A parts every 30 days, I need to complete B part every 60 days, and C class items every 90 days, whatever that policy what your organization is having. Basis that, this person will generate the count sheet, but the format will remain the same: SKU, description, it'll have location, batch, and quantity. So as simple as that. So once this is created, if it is an ERP, you are going to download that in the form of a count sheet, which is a physical paper. And if it is a paperless organization, what they do is, this is directly sent on to the handheld device of the operator. Both are, if it's a paperless warehouse, it is directly going to a tab or a handheld device, or it is a physical paper. You can do this either as a blind count or as a normal count. I'll tell you why blind count is very effective. In case of blind count, what we do is, now we have this template. In this template, now you need to go out and fill the actual quantity, right? You need to fill the actual quantity. This is filled by the operator. Now, when you give this sheet to the operator, you will go ahead and mask the actual quantity which is there in the warehouse. So what will happen? The sheet, when it is going, it will have, okay, let's say there is an SKU ABC. It is in location 1A1. The person who's going there won't be seeing what is the actual quantity. Let's assume 30 is in the location. Okay. And I will mask this. That means it is completely removed from the sheet, right? And the person actually first counts and come back. So let's assume I am doing the count. I go to the location, I fill in the information as say 25. I come back. and the admin is going to now compare between the masked quantity, which is 30, versus this 25. Now there is a discrepancy, they'll go for a count and come back. So this is typically a blind count. So a blind count, you are masking the actual quantity and you're not revealing that to the operator who's doing the account. Sometimes why they do it, if you give the quantity, if someone don't want to count it, they can just go out and update. Oh, okay, you know what, 30 is there, let me update it as 30. I know there is no issue there. There is a tendency. So that's where you mask the quantity which is showing in the system, and the operator goes back and collects the information and come back, and then you compare it. This is a blind count. Okay, so if it is a blind count, you just mask this quantity. Now this sheet will be given to the operator. Now what this operator does, he is going to go to the warehouse. He is going to now count those SKU. So he is going to look at that SKU, that location, that specific batch number, if it is a product expiry and the lot expiry is enabled for that product, so there is a batch information, and then he will physically count this quantity, update into that sheet. So he is going to complete the whole sheet, then he comes back to the office, right? So in the office, what they do, they are going to now compare what has been counted and what is in the system. They are going to compare these two. If it is all matching up, there is no issue. If it is not matching, you do a second count, you, because you need to just ensure it is really a discrepancy. And most probably what they do is they give it to a separate operator when there is a discrepancy. Try to fix it. If you couldn't fix it, then it will go for some analysis, and then you come up with what you need to do with it. If it matches, no issues, you call it as a successful stock count or a cycle count, and then you close the books. If there is a discrepancy, it goes for an approval process, then it comes back, and then you need to pass on required entries into the system. So if it is a uh, discrepancy, it goes for an approval depending on how much is the value, and then that decision maker, someone from finance, will take a decision in terms of, yes, I'm going to write it off, or whatever the decision is. Basis that, then you update the system. Update the system is nothing but adjusting the stock so that the physical stock and the system stock matches. And this is one of the most crucial process in an organization. The reason is, if you're not managing your physical stock and system stock properly, system will show a different number and you may get into a stock out. So then that it's a surprise stock out, because basis a system, someone say, hey, you know what, there are 3 pieces, I am raising a sales order for it. Physically you go there, there is no product. So what will happen, you need to go back to the customer, make an explanation, all this complexity comes in. So it is a prime objective of an inventory management team to ensure the system and the physical stock always matches. So that's the process. And if you have any questions, please drop me a note. I would be able to provide you more clarification. Thank you so much, and I will meet you on the next session.